We have two simultaneous problems, and the two problems are we have carbon emissions that we need to control and reduce, but we also have a problem of energy poverty. We have 800 million people living without electricity, and many billions of others living with too little electricity. That means something to me. My mother, Gladys, she grew up in the hill country of North Alabama before there was a Tennessee Valley Authority. And she experienced what it was like her first 12 years of life to be without running water and without electricity. And why I ended up an electric utility lawyer, a monopoly lawyer, and sometimes in opposition to Tennessee Valley. The one thing that my mother always reminded me is you don't know how precious this is until you've lived life without it. And so we looked at those twin problems. We had looked at carbon management and the question of global warming. We had looked at energy poverty. We said somebody has to do something about this. We have to address global climate change, but we can't leave a large portion of the world in energy poverty at the same time we do it. We have to recognize that there are some fossil fuels that we have to use, and we have to do it as cleanly as possible. And that's why we developed and worked with our team of engineers to come up with technologies that we think are suitable for India and other countries around the world. The US may not need them right now, but the rest of the world does. India needs them. And what we intend to do is bring them to India, bring our engineering expertise, our industry, all of those people who worked in and around coal, who understand how you do it well, and provide as much assistance as possible.
I have been involved with developing various technologies for pressurized combustion and gasification for over 3 decades. A lot of these technologies that we developed are quite unique, have a wide applicability. These technologies not only can produce power, hydrogen, syngas, which can be used for chemicals, as well as other applications, but they can also capture CO2. Also, there are ways in which the CO2 can be converted into useful products. One of the places where these technologies can be adapted on a wide scale is in India because of the way in which the country has been developing. India's population is quite large, exceeding 1.4 billion, and the country is developing at the rate of about 6% every year. And one of the measure of development is electricity. About 4 or 5 decades back, the sulfuric acid, cement, iron and steel, they used to be the measure on how fast the country develops, but now the electricity has become quite important, not only for industrial growth, but also to replace the transportation fuel. And we believe that technologies which myself and my colleague developed over the last 3 decades have quite a bit of useful place in India, and we believe that we can not only build these technologies but to train a sufficient number of engineers in India who can further develop the technologies and keep the potential alive and well going forward. Ultimately, countries measure, especially these days, is based on how much electricity is produced, because electricity is the basis for everything from residential use, from commercial, industrial growth. And so we think that what we have done will be helpful in developing countries like India.
I am from a third degree pure process engineer, and I possess a set of skill as a pure process engineer. I know why and how. Why part is in years we developed a set of equations to scale up fluidized by the reactors. That is really special to us. On the how part, I have went through from very concept to the table scale test, small scale test, pilot plant test to the full commercial plant. We designed a plant. It was a scale up to 100 times from the pilot plant, and was almost 100%. So that is basic me on the achievement side. On the how side, I know also how to design thing, how to troubleshooting thing or operating a thing, and also how to make modify thing, and when the data come, that's called data analysis. So that's a fundamental of me, and on my role of this, of course, my contribution to this company will be developing new technology suitable for the worldwide.
Powerscape India is a U.S. corporation. We're going to follow U.S. laws, and that's one of my biggest goals being here, is to make sure that no matter where we go in business or what we do, we remain compliant. My job is to put Powerscape India in a position where the other branches can focus on what they're doing. So the business team can focus on the business, the marketing team can focus on marketing, the science team can focus on science. The legal standpoint is to mitigate the risk as much as possible of any outside forces, of any sort of liabilities that could happen to Powerscape and could threaten any of those other departments.
We're building from a foundation. It's a startup program, right? We have a plethora of knowledge and information from all these men and women that have worked in the industry for many, many years, and we've brought them together, and it's amazing to see the magic that takes place when we come together. And my job and what my role is to help bring support to those, our engineers, our scientists, our sales team, those who are helping put the product together for all these other nations. My job is to support them and get them what it takes to build a business.
Clean water, the safe and secure food supplies, the warmth at night in the wintertime, the lights of lights for factories, for offices, for schools, all come from electricity. And electricity is coming from a number of different areas, and some countries just don't have the regional wealth to be able to do that on their own. But they do have fossil fuels that could be decarbonized, and a lot of it. And not only does it provide local resources for peoples in these countries, but it also creates regional wealth by monetizing these resources for them. To just step up, walk away, and wipe your hands from a resource as valuable as this, which we're doing in the United States right now, is almost an act of arrogance. Is it we have too much? If we have too much, just use it, not walk away from it. And so I think we have a high chance of taking the technologies that we understand and apply them to places like India, who have a lot of the resources, who have a lot of people that would get the benefit of the monetization and decarbonization of these resources regionally, not rely on imports of exotic materials, exotic technologies, but do it local. And I think we can do that. And I think we do that to the benefit to not tens or 20s, but to literally hundreds of millions of people get the benefit of this. They still have a few things to do. Some other parts of the world have gotten technologically advanced. Not to cast stones, but you have 1.4 billion people, I think, is a population count today. It's going to be dramatically higher in the next 20 years. It's very easy to mobilize 5 to 8 million people to try something new. You can't do that with 1.4 billion people unless there's going to be some dramatic, large scale returns, which this process we are working on could do. Give humanity more opportunity in a better place. Simple things. Lighting at night, secure food in a refrigerator, food processes, jobs for employment so people can earn their solid keep and not wonder where the next piece of food or energy, for example, comes from. 2050 instead of 2070. It could be. It certainly has all the attributes to take you there. Part of it's going to be the will and determination of the people who would employ the technology and to embrace an opportunity. But yeah, I believe it's there. There's a number of different pieces of the equation that have been put to the test already. This isn't pie in the sky technology voodoo. This is proven technological advances that can be delivered, and in a way that
is not impossible to do because of other materials that are not available or because of processes that are not understood. All these things are in place. In fact, if anything, you've got so much material, it's just waiting for the opportunity to be utilized.